everybody, and welcome to another episode of Inside Wildcat Country, the monthly television show dedicated exclusively to University of New Hampshire athletics. I'm your host, Heather Ross. The gymnastics team prepares to host the Eagle Championships at the Whittemore Center on March 22nd. Then, it's a family affair here at UNH as women's basketball coaches Maureen McGarity and Brendan Copes give us an inside look at their lives off the court. But first, the UNH swim team conquered its second consecutive America East title. But let's take a look at how two of the swimmers apply that competitive edge inside the classroom as well. Welcome back to Inside Wildcat Country. Later this month, the ice behind me will be transformed into the stage where the UNH gymnastics team will be hosting the 2014 East Atlantic Gymnastics League Championships. We caught up with a few of the gymnasts and their coach Gail Goodspeed about what it will be like to compete at the Whittemore Center. Welcome back to Inside Wildcat Country. Maureen McGarity and Brendan Copes certainly have their hands full as coaches of the very successful UNH women's basketball team. But let's take a look at how they juggle their Wildcat family with their own growing family at home, presented by America East. Well, that's all we have for now. I hope you enjoyed this month's episode. I'm Heather Ross, and we'll see you next time, Inside Wildcat Country. Spring football is already underway here in Durham, and all this month we'll be taking a look at some of the different ongoing position battles within the team, all leading up to the spring game in May. This week we caught up with the quarterbacks Andy Valis and Sean Goldrich to see how their competition is panning out. You and quarterback Sean Goldrich have both proven that you can lead the offense of this team. How do you handle this competition? We're here at TD Garden for the semifinal round of the Hockey East tournament, where Kevin Goomis led the Wildcats with 2 goals in UNH's 3-1 victory over Providence College. UNH returns to the Garden again Saturday night for the final round of the Hockey East tournament, where they'll face UMass Lowell at 7 p.m. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. Back at TD Garden for the final round of the Hockey East Championship, where UNH fell to UMass Lowell 4-0. UNH generated multiple scoring opportunities throughout the night, despite the pressure from the UMass Lowell defensemen, but could not capitalize on those opportunities.
I was very pleased with the way
Getting to this point was an accomplishment in itself for the Wildcats. Tonight marked UNH's 8th title game appearance and their first since 2007. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. This Friday, the Wildcats take to the ice at TD Garden in the Hockey East semifinal round for the first time since 2011. Coming off a series win against Northeastern last weekend, UNH looks towards Providence College. Offensively, the Cats are focusing on creating a lot of traffic in front of the Providence net in order to create scoring opportunities in front of goaltender John Gillies. On the defensive end, it's all about keeping Providence out of the New Hampshire net. The Wildcats compete in Boston this Friday night at 8 p.m. The winner of that matchup moves on to the final round on Saturday night. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. With just a few days left until the start of the NCAA skiing championships at the University of Utah, I caught up with the coaches and 2 of the skiers who will be competing in the Alpine and Nordic events. The Wildcat skiers attempt to surpass their team best 8th place finish from last year in the competition this year. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. With the regular season behind them, UNH prepares to take on Northeastern University in the quarterfinal round of the Hockey East tournament here at the Whittemore Center. A win in this best-of-3 series will advance UNH to a spot in the semifinal round hosted at TD Garden in Boston. The Cats open the series with the Huskies here in Durham on Friday at 7. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. I'm here with junior forward Matt Willows. Matt, you've had a great season so far. What do you think you've done differently this year that contributed to your success?
I think I just had a good off season, so it's always great to play with guys like them, and we move the puck well, and we just seem to find each other well on the ice, so it's been good.
Tell me about that line, playing with them. What is it like?
It's great.
Do you think that has more to do with skill or chemistry just between you guys? What about it? Heading into this weekend, 2 games against Maine, it's all conference games from here on out. What's that like for you guys? What are some things that you expect to see from this Maine team? What's it like playing up there? Is it challenging, a hostile environment? How do you find yourself being able to play to the best of your ability still? I'm here with head coach Dick Umili. Coach, you guys are all done with non-conference play. You're heading into the conference stretch. What is it like for you guys? What's at stake for this team?
Well, it's an important time for us right now, Heather.
You guys are playing here at UNH on Friday, but you're heading up to Maine on Saturday. What's it like playing up there? What's the environment like?
Well,
and you guys are rivals with Maine, so getting a win must be that much better. What is it like for the team?
It's always special whenever you beat.
The team suffered some adversity this year with injuries. What is everybody doing to bounce back from that?
Well, we just lost both of our players. We've had a couple.
Who do you think, just as a leader on the ice, can really pick up the team when they're down, particularly with long-term injuries and things like that?
Well, Eric Canola is our captain.
I sat down with the 6 members of the UNH swim team who will be moving on to compete in the ECAC Championships starting February 28th. The team just came off of their 2nd consecutive America East Championship win. Let's hear what they had to say.
Get more people to NCAAs and have them score better than they did last year.
In the meantime, the Wildcat swimmers continue to prepare for the 3-day championship beginning February 28th. For UNH Wildcat Productions, I'm Heather Ross. After taking a week off following the home-and-home sweep against BU, UNH hits the ice in preparation for the weekend at Merrimack. Wildcat captain Eric Knodel said that the team has been focusing on getting the competitive edge back in their game in order to face a hostile environment in the final 2 away games of the regular season. The Cats face off against the Warriors this Friday at 7 in North Andover. Tune in on Friday and Saturday night for post-game coverage. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. I'm here with senior forward Patrick Conan. Pat, you've accomplished a really big milestone just last week, your 1,000th career point. How does that feel? And you didn't start your career at UNH, you actually started at Liberty University. What influenced your decision to leave Liberty? And just recently, from January to February, you missed 8 games because you were injured. What was that like sitting out, especially your senior year?
It was tough,
Senior day on Saturday, talk about the emotions that you have coming into this game. What's your relationship like with the other seniors on the team after all this time throughout your career? Fell to Merrimack 4-2 Friday night here in North Andover. After falling behind 2-0 in the second period, UNH came back and retaliated with 2 goals, one scored by Brett Pesci and the other scored by Dalton Spielman. The big picture impact of these final 2 games for UNH is the position in which they'll end the regular season. The Cats face off against the Warriors again tomorrow night here in Merrimack. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. UNH topped Boston University 3-1 Monday night to sweep the home-and-home series. All 3 goals were scored by Matt Willows for his 2nd hat trick of the season.
Obviously, I was pleased with the way the team played.
The Wildcats get a break this upcoming weekend before they take on Merrimack to finish out the regular season. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. 5 out of the 6 seniors on the ice contributed points in Friday night's victory over BU on senior night. Matt Willows flirted with a hat trick, while Justin Augusta tied for his career-high 3 assists in a single game. But overall, the team did exactly what Coach Umili wanted tonight. They played better as a team, and they came out on top. There's a lot to look forward to for the Wildcats this weekend, with senior night on Friday and a chance to redeem themselves in a home-and-home against BU after being swept by UVM last weekend. Earlier today, Coach Umili said that the team needs to focus on playing better as a team, primarily on the defensive end, if they want to come out on top against the Terriers. The Wildcats finished out the weekend with a 2-1 loss against UVM. New Hampshire goal was scored by Nick Sorkin on the power play in the second period. The Wildcats compete again at the WIT next Friday for the final time this regular season when they take on Boston University. Tune in on Wednesday when we hear from Coach Umili and the team about how they're preparing for the home-and-home weekend ahead. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. I'm here with junior goaltender Casey DeSmith. Casey, coming off a big win this weekend, a sweep against Notre Dame, how is that momentum carrying you guys into this weekend against Vermont? And speaking of last weekend, you recorded 32 saves on Saturday and your season-high 38 on Friday, and you also received the game puck on Saturday. So how does that feel to be recognized by your teammates? After this weekend, you guys only have 1 home game left, and then you have 3 more away. What is everyone focused on for the remainder of the season? You had a big weekend last weekend, but as far as your own personal goals, what are some things that you're really focused on for the rest of the season? I wanted to ask you about home games in particular. It's no secret that the goaltender's job is a high-pressure position. How does it help, or how does it make any difference being home with your fans literally right behind you cheering you on?
It adds a new element of fun to every single game.
And do you think that helps you guys really pull out a win a lot easier?
It definitely does. The guys compete that much more harder.
From an outsider's perspective, you always look so calm and composed in the net. How important is it that you keep a level head while playing?
It's kind of a goaltender's job is to kind of be the backbone of the team, and I take that upon myself to try to keep my composure all the time.
Has that been a difficult role for you to take on, or is it something that came natural?
It's just something you learn throughout your career.
How much of your success would you say depends on the performance of your teammates around you?
You know, whenever I have a good game, it's mostly those guys in front of me.
What would you say has been the highlight of the season for you?
You know, this past weekend was pretty exciting. That was a big sweep for us, so I would have to go this past weekend. It was pretty great.
All right, thanks, Casey. Good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
UNH fell to UVM 5-2 Friday night in the first of two back-to-back games this weekend. New Hampshire goals were scored by Kevin Gumas in the first period and Brett Pesci in the third. With only 5 games left in the regular season, the pressure is on for the Wildcats to collect as many wins as possible to finish in the top 4 spot in the Hockey East standings and gain that home ice advantage in the quarterfinals. UNH faces UVM again tomorrow night on Saturday at 7 o'clock here at the Whittemore Center. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. I'm here with Dalton Spielman. Dalton, it's all conference play from here on out. What does that feel like for you, and how's the team feeling? A few of the guys had to move around to fill some holes in the lineup. How do you think everyone's been adapting? And Notre Dame this weekend, a team that you guys haven't really seen much of. A couple of the key players are missing from the lineup, obviously, and people have had to step up. In what ways do you think that the senior class has really been able to act as a leader for this team? What's something you guys can take away from your win against Maine on Friday and really use towards trying to beat this Notre Dame team this weekend? UNH coach Dick Umili's strategy of changing up the lines for this week's matchup against Notre Dame paid off Saturday night with a 5-2 victory for the Cats.
It was awesome. The whole weekend was great. I was really
out there. If your number got called, they were going to work their butts off for the team, and it was a great effort for us.
Colin McDonald scored his first goal of the season, and Maxime Goudreau his second, while Dalton Spielman, who moved to the top line, scored his fifth.
And Dalton did a great job. Dalton had one of his better weekends, and he blocked shots.
The swing in momentum came late in the second period with a shorthanded goal by Matt Willows.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, it's huge to just kill penalties, you know.
This weekend marks the Wildcats' first Hockey East Conference sweep since November when they played Northeastern. Next week, they take on Vermont here at the Witt once again. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. I'm here with sophomore forward, Corinne Koya. Corinne, it's the last game of the regular season. How does it feel to be at the end of the road?
I mean, it's definitely come quickly.
And you're battling for the second spot in America East. What is that like for you guys? What's motivating you to push forward for that? And you mentioned senior Kelsey Hogan. She's the one that's leaving you guys. How does it feel to say goodbye to your captain?
I mean, it's definitely going to be surreal.
You were out all last season after having a back surgery. What was it like sitting out and watching your teammates play? How do you think you were able to push through your injury and to come back and then lead the team in double-digit scoring?
You know, I definitely worked really hard last year to come back.
And you didn't start your career at UNH. You actually started at URI. What's the difference between the UNH team and URI? I'm here at the Whittemore Center where the Wildcats prepare for another back-to-back weekend of hockey against Hockey East newcomer Notre Dame. But the overarching theme of this week's matchup seems to be the many changes that the Wildcats have and will be making to their lineup in order to accommodate for the 4 players who were lost for injury. UNH topped Maine 3-2 in Friday night's rivalry matchup with goals scored by Sorkin, Knodel, and Camper. Earlier this week, Eric Knodel said that a win against this Maine team was going to require a full team effort from the Wildcats, and despite the loss of Van Riemsdyk and Downing, the Wildcats pulled together and played as the better team Friday night. The Wildcats, who are ranked number 6 in Hockey East, face off against number 4 Maine tomorrow night in Orono. For UNH Wildcat Productions, I'm Heather Ross. I'm joined right now by senior guard Scott Morris. Scott, let's talk about last game. The team really came together and snapped that losing streak. What were your thoughts on that?
It was just a great win.
Unfortunately, you were out with a hamstring injury during that game. What was it like to watch all of this happen and not be on the court? Let's talk about you now. It's your final season with the Wildcats. What are your thoughts on that? What are some emotions that come to mind?
It's kind of scary. I mean, it's probably going to be my last year ever playing.
And as far as your entire journey so far playing basketball, what are your thoughts on that, looking back on that now?
It's been a good journey.
When did you start playing basketball, and what really made you want to play?
I didn't really get into it kind of organized until I think like 3rd grade with my dad, but.
And you've loved it ever since?
Loved it ever since.
And coming all the way from Maryland, what made you pick a school like UNH? You said the family was a main deciding factor, but what was that one moment where you were like, this is the school for me? How do you think you've grown as an athlete throughout all of this time? Any plans for graduation, after graduation?
Yes, I actually accepted a job with Putnam Investments, so I'm excited about to start that next year.
Well, congratulations and good luck with everything in the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Number 17 UNH takes on number 6 Union College in a weekend doubleheader in which the Cats aim to extend their 4-game win streak.
You know, every team you play is you can't take the night off. You just never know.
This week's matchup marks the Wildcats' last 2 non-conference games of the season and is what Coach Umili is calling the biggest weekend of the year. After dropping some non-conference games earlier in the season, the Wildcats hope to redeem themselves by picking up back-to-back wins this weekend against Union. For UNH Wildcat Productions, I'm Heather Ross. The Wildcats hope to extend their winning streak to 6 straight games when they battle the Lions this Saturday for the first time ever. Only one win stands between New Hampshire football and what would be their first ever FCS semifinal playoff appearance. The Wildcats take on the Lions this Saturday at 7 p.m. in Hammond, Louisiana. Live coverage can be seen on ESPN3. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions. In the final game of the regular season, the Wildcats defeated their neighboring rivals, the University of Maine Black Bears. With the victory, the Wildcats kept the musket in Durham.
For us in that game, it was win or pack up the stuff for the winner.
The win not only denied the Black Bears their undefeated conference record, but it kept the Wildcats' playoff hopes alive.
It's definitely going to be.
The Cats did not expect to be facing their rivals again just 2 weeks later.
It's definitely unusual. We got to approach it like it's our first time playing them. They are a great team.
This week, the Wildcats are looking to accomplish something no UNH team has done before: win 2 playoff games in a single season. The Wildcats take on the Black Bears this Saturday in Orono. Kickoff is set for 2 p.m. and can be seen live on ESPN3. I'm Heather Ross for UNH Wildcat Productions.